Hi, everyone. Welcome to Prevention Education, the podcast that teaches you everything about prevention. Thanks for listening, and let's get started. Welcome back to another Prevention Education podcast. I'm Kylie, and I'm a prevention specialist with Preferred Family Healthcare Prevention. And today I have Mallory with me. So, Mallory, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, yes. My name is Mallory, and I'm a mental health awareness training specialist. And I work here in the prevention department with Preferred Family.
Yes. And if you didn't tune in to a previous episode, Mallory talked about what an MHAT Specialist is. And so if you're curious what that is, be sure to pop over into the other episode. So our intro question today is, what was your dream job as a child?
My dream job, I knew as a child that my purpose kind of was to always help people. And so it was a counselor, and I am currently in my master's program to become a mental health counselor.
Yes, that's what we love to hear. So your dream job is coming to reality.
Yes.
I love that so much. My dream job was a math teacher. I don't know, like I was just obsessed with math as a child. And I do not want to be a teacher by any means. Now my dream is to just like work with kids in a hospital, which is what I already do for some of my time. And yeah, I guess I just loved like, here kids, here's 2 plus 2.
Right.
I have no idea. I was a wild child. That made no sense, but
You must have loved
yes,
children, though, because you're still with the children. So that must have been
exactly.
part of it.
Yes, yeah. And I always dreamed of being a stay-at-home mom at the end of the day. I was like, I'm just gonna be a mom.
Yes.
And that's gonna happen too. So look
Dreams
at
are coming
us
true for us.
living out our living our best lives over here. When do you graduate to have your degree?
It'll be towards the end of like 2025.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds far, but it's gonna be here before we know it.
It really
So
is.
yeah, that's only what, a year and a half away?
Mm-hmm.
Whew. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, now that I've probably scared us and our listeners to what year we're actually going to be in a year and a half, we will get into our topic. And so our topic today is all about MHAT trainings. And so once again, MHAT stands for Mental Health Awareness Trainings. So I guess it's redundant for me to say MHAT trainings, but that's just kind of what we say. So would you like to list the trainings that we offer in the prevention department?
Yes. We offer mental health first aid, and we offer that within the adult and youth. Kylie had mentioned in a previous podcast that we do have a teen. We just have not started that yet. Unsure if we will. And then we offer that in person, blended, or virtual. And then we have our QPR, which is question, persuade, and refer. And that is our suicide training. And we also offer that in person or virtual. That is about a 45-minute to an hour training. And then we have our workshops, and those are an hour long. And we kind of take the information from the mental health first aid trainings and we condense it into like an hour long for those individuals that aren't able to attend a training for like 8 hours.
Yeah, yeah. And all of the information, all the trainings are so useful, are so practical for life, whether it's in the workforce or your personal life or literally any aspect of your life. All the trainings contain so much valuable information. So I guess we'll start and go training by training. And I'm just going to group the youth and the adult together for mental health first aid. Why should people take that or those trainings specifically?
Well, for one, it brings the awareness as well as it really is breaking, like, we're getting away from the stigma and the taboo. People within our language and our actions, we may think that we're doing something that is helpful or positive, but when you take this training, you can then realize, like, oh, that isn't helpful. And we talk a lot about helpful and unhelpful approaches, and we talk about early intervention. And early intervention is really key And so if people are aware of like the early signs and symptoms that could lead to a mental health challenge, that is wonderful, because if we notice those signs, then we can get that early intervention done and they can get those treatments. As well as we talk about the barriers that are associated with people not seeking that treatment.
Yeah. Yes. And I think it's really important to point out when people hear early intervention, I think they mostly think kids
Mm-hmm.
and, like people younger than 18. But in the mental health field, and especially in prevention too, early intervention can happen at any point in the
Absolutely.
life, whether you're 5 or you're, 55. Um, Early intervention doesn't just mean in your younger years or in your early life. It means whenever we start to see something happening or before we even start to see something happening in someone's life, making sure to get in, give them the tools that they need to be successful and put them on the right path, no matter how old they are.
Absolutely. And with that, we also talk about like the risk factors and the protective factors, as well as like a self-care and like how important self-care really is. So if you're interested, I think it'd be a great course. It really ties it all in together.
Yes. And just for our listeners who don't know, could you just give a super brief overview of what a risk and protective factor is?
Yeah, a risk factor could be for like an individual, anyone that's experienced like a traumatic event. That's normally the biggest risk factor. That could be any person that's experienced any type of abuse, neglect, discrimination, poverty. And then our protective factors are things that, which could be self-care, having that support system, getting your education, things to those nature.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for sharing those. I know some people confuse them, or that's a common question that I get kind of frequently. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So yes, so those trainings are very important for the community, and you can. I guess I'll actually just ask you, and you'll answer this question. If someone wants to take those trainings, how do they have to be in a group of people? Can they sign up as an individual? What's kind of the path to taking one of those trainings?
Yeah, so we can actually do two routes. We do offer public. So if you see that at any point we have a public mental health training, and we keep those normally on like Eventbrite and our website, so you guys can check out then to see when they're being offered. But if you just individually want to join, that's a great way, is to join one of those. But if you are within an organization or a company that would like to offer this training for your employees, then we typically do what is called a private training. And that's when you would just get in contact with myself or my coworker, and we would set up a time and date that works well. And then we just give a list of people that would like to attend, and then we would make accounts on Connect, which Connect goes with our training. You have to do some of it before and after on Connect, but we will do the training also.
Yeah. And that kind of goes for all of um, the trainings.
Yeah.
You can take them all individually, or you can sign up as a group. And I know Mallory and Lainey, our other MHAT specialists, they love any and all the questions, and they're willing to help you, whether you're just signing up individually or as a group. Anyone in the community we love to serve. So, yes. Okay, so we'll move on to the next training and we'll just pick QPR. So, why should people take a QPR training?
People should take QPR because it talks about suicide, which we all know is a very heavy conversation or topic. And we find out that most individuals, they don't really know what to say or do. And just the thought of talking about it makes them very uneasy. So this course that we're offering, it helps people to become a little more comfortable with asking these questions. And we want to ask people directly. There is an indirect way of asking someone if they're thinking about suicide. But it just helps, again, to break the awareness and the way we talk about suicide, as well as look for those signs and symptoms that could show that someone is within a crisis at the moment. And we
Yeah.
also have resources that are located normally within that community just to help someone to have a start on where to go for services.
Yeah. And that start could be the thing that changes their entire life. So,
Absolutely.
yes. QPR, it's a very special training and it takes less than an hour of your time. And so if
Mhm.
you're interested in QPR and you're listening, definitely sign up. It's less than an hour, but it could absolutely change someone's life if you have the knowledge of what to do. Or like Mallory said, they have a wonderful list of resources for each community that they do trainings in. And that list of resources could make a huge difference. It might just seem like a random list to some people, but at the end of the day, that resource list, yeah, it affects people in ways that we probably would never even know. So, yeah. Well, thank you for sharing about QPR. The last one, which I think a lot of our listeners and a lot of our followers kind of have the most amount of questions with, is the workshops. So,
Mhm.
why should they take a workshops? What are some example workshops that you guys do? Um, yeah.
Yeah, so our workshops are there for people who aren't able to take a course a full like 5 to 8 hours, which is typically what our mental health first aid courses are. And so you're still getting that knowledge just within a hour's time frame. Within our workshops, we talk a lot about like the self-care, self-help, and trauma. We really get into a lot of like trauma topics, as well as again like the self-care, self-help, and just awareness.
Yes. Yeah, in those trainings, if you have a special request, can they, like, pass that by you guys, and are you able to do special requests?
Yeah, absolutely. If we have someone that inquires about a workshop, we normally just let them know like all the workshops that we offer and kind of give them like a little description about what that is. And then if they decide there's a certain one that they would like to engage in, then we'll move forward with that for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if you are in our 27 county area, and you have a certain mental health topic that you want your staff or your family or just yourself to know about, and you have kind of a group to go with, that would be awesome to reach out about this. And we can get you on the calendar and we can get you trained in this amazing topic or any of the amazing topics that you have in mind. So perfect. Am I missing any of the trainings? Does that cover all of them?
That does cover all of them, yeah.
Awesome. Well, just as a final note, do you have anything else that you would like to say to our listeners about MHAT or why they should take a training, or just mental health in general?
Yeah, I think I would encourage everyone to at least look at all the courses we offer. As we can see, again, that there is awareness starting to come and people are becoming more comfortable with the topic of mental health, but we still have a long ways to go. And as we can see within our communities, mental health is affecting our younger people more prevalent now than it's probably ever have or it's been talked about. So with us being aware and knowing that mental health is now affecting all the way from our really young youth all the way up into our elder, it's just very beneficial for all of us to be aware. And the goal is if we can make a difference or save a life, then that's the whole goal.
Yeah. I think you said that very well. And you guys in the MHAT department do an amazing job. And so if you're in our 27 county area, please feel free to reach out. They love to help anyone and everyone in any way that they can. And feel free to head to our website. It's pfh.org/prevention. And then you go to the MHAT page and you can look at the trainings there, get more descriptions. And I think there's still a survey to sign up, but if there's not, go ahead and email us or call us. And the email is moprevention@pfh.org, or you can email mallory.selvy@pfh.org. Or you can call us at 660-627-7404.
Yep,
I think I nailed that. That's
you did.
impressive. I haven't said that in ages. Well, Yeah, so be sure to contact us in absolutely any way, and we will get back in contact with you. But Mallory, thank you so much for being on the podcast today and just for all of your knowledge. You're an amazing MHAT trainer, and we just
Thank
could
you.
not be luckier to have you. So,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. And thank you to our listeners. We hope that you tune in to another episode. Bye, everyone.
Thank you guys so much for tuning into our podcast. Remember to follow us on social media at PFH Prevention. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Spotify, and more podcasting platforms. And make sure to email us at moprevention@pfh.org with any questions, and feel free to call us at 660-627-7404. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.